Boom. All right, we're ready. Welcome to the Old Gods Meadery. For those of you that may watch this replay. For those of you live, there aren't any. It's notifying people I'm live right now, so I'm talking to myself. I love that first sip of coffee. It's my favorite thing. Alrighty, let's see what we got here. We're gonna need that. We're gonna need this. Let's refresh this. Alright, we're ready to go. I'm ready to go. I hope you are too. Welcome to the Old Gods Meadery. I have a lot of notifications I did not clear before this. That's going to drive me crazy. That's alright. We'll do it after. Whew. Have fun. I think it'll be fun at least. We'll see. We'll see. I got to get like a full cup of coffee before I can fully commit. And then dive in straight in. Hello, hello. Welcome. Say hello. Let me know where you're from. We're going to get started in here in just a couple minutes. Let everything get going. Let the coffee flow. You know how it works. Let everybody smile. Say good morning. Then we're going to go full-fledged, drinking more coffee and talking more. It's going to be an exciting agenda today. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Old Gods Meadery. Don't forget to hit like a million times if you're on the TikTok side. If you're on the YouTube side, just hit like once. It's easier, I guess, on YouTube, isn't it? I don't know. Welcome to the Old Gods Meadery. I make mead every single week, every single Saturday. I come out with a brand new batch of mead. I don't replicate recipes, and I don't miss Saturdays. Every single one is brand new. Every single one is brand new. Yesterday, I came out, very proud of this. This is off my Norse gods and goddesses lines of meads. This is my Freyr mead, who was a veneer god of the Norse. Mostly celebrated during the Yule season to honor the upcoming spring. He was the god of fertility, especially nature, peace, hope. So obviously heavily worshipped because of those reasons during the cold, brittle winters of Scandinavia. I made him a mead, and one of the most refreshing meads I've ever made. You can ignore this part. That was a little typo at the bottom. It's too late. So this is mint, cucumber, and lemon mead. You can go check out exactly how I made it, including the recipe is free in the description. That all came out yesterday. I do that every single Saturday. Every single Saturday, brand new batch of mead. Hello, good morning. Don't forget to like a million times. Let me know where you're from. Hello, good morning. Good morning, Dennis. If you don't follow Dennis, give Dennis a follow. Amazing mead maker. Mentor of mine, even though he is newer in the hobby. He's making some radical stuff. It's awesome. Love watching it. Good morning. Hit like a million times. Let's get in the algorithms, have some fun this morning. Today, I'm just going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Mead, preferably. Mead yesterday, even more preferably. Or your pets. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to drink some coffee and have some fun with my friends this morning and get this Sunday kicked off. It should be an amazing day. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, sir. I had a ton of fun researching and making this mead. Learned a lot about the veneer set of gods, which was at once a rival tribe of gods against the Aesir, which we all know, that's like Odin, Thor, Loki, the common ones you've seen through the Marvel universe in the more latter years. Some pretty cool, amazing stuff, though, and I'm really proud of this mead. It's delicious. It smells even better than it tastes, and yeah, other than the typo on the label that my buddy had to point out, of course, in the comments, but that's okay. Comments are comments, right? They help the algorithm. Hello, hello, good morning. So yeah, that's what we call a Bochet mead, and I love doing it. It's a little intimidating before you've done it a couple times, and a little dangerous until you kind of know what you're doing. But the method behind the Bochet mead is caramelizing the honey before you introduce the yeast, so before it ferments. And you could do it on a big scale. You can do it just for a few minutes to kind of just get it really, really nice and golden. Or you can do it, I did one for about 45 minutes where it got really dark and like caramel-like. It's fantastic. It adds a whole nother level of flavor to your meads. It's just, like I said, honey goes through some phases when you're cooking it, especially at really high temperatures, so you have to be careful. Get a big batch. I use like a crab pot. You gotta use like a crab pot because you want it deep. The honey, as soon as it starts boiling, will rise. It'll like foam. All of it, the whole thing, not just the top. All of the honey will foam and rise quite a bit. So you want to make sure you have a really deep pot if you're going to do that. You want to continuously stir it. You don't want it sticking to anything. So maybe a mitten, a glove, something because it's going to splatter a little bit, and that honey will burn little dots on you. I've done it. It hurts. And then it actually it becomes the consistency of water. It gets really thin, and it'll drop back down, and that's where you'll start seeing the color change, and you got to really, really, really stir it a lot. But it's awesome. You're going to love the flavor if you do it. Just be careful. That strawberry, yeah. Yeah, you can't go wrong with it. Like I said, you can literally, all that, any recipe, and just, like, caramelize that honey, and you'll get a completely different mead, even if every other ingredient's exactly the same. What do you mean, finally make it? You're ready now. Let's get going. It's Sunday. You can start a batch today. Well, you might have to gather some equipment, but you can improvise. You can improvise. It's a very wide hobby. Hello, good morning. If you're just jumping in, welcome to the Old Gods Meadery. I make mead every single week. Every single Saturday, I come out with a brand new batch of mead. Every single recipe is absolutely brand new. I don't replicate recipes, and I don't miss Saturdays. Every single one. Batch 137 came out yesterday in the honor of Freyr, the Norse god. It was awesome mead. This is my mint, cucumber, and lemon mead that I made for him. I love it. But go back, watch the video. It came out yesterday. And I do that every single Saturday. Every single recipe is absolutely free. It's in the description. I don't charge for anything. All you have to do is follow along. My main goal here is to show the simplicity of mead making and get as many people interested in this amazing hobby and community as possible. There are some other creators out there. They charge you. Not this guy. I want you to make your own mead, and all of my recipes are available to you. You can tweak them. You can replicate them exactly. I don't care. Have fun. That's what I want you to do. But yeah, jump in, get that batch going. No, it's not pre-recorded. I just ignore a vast majority of YouTube comments. Although you'll think that's pre-recorded. It's not. It is currently 7:08 here on the East Coast, Sunday morning. Good morning. Good to see you. Hello, hello. I'm also, I'm broadcasting on YouTube and on TikTok. TikTok is where my community heart is, though. It's where it's always been. It's where all of my buddies are. YouTube, I love. We're growing pretty significantly. It was not an afterthought, but I started YouTube a little bit later and uploaded stuff more regularly there. But it's really toxic, especially this early in the morning. A lot of weirdos. There's nothing on the agenda today, just chit-chatting for a little while. I might give a little teaser what's coming up later this week. My videos today will just be rehashes of all the stuff that happened last week, in case you missed any of it. We had a lot of fun this past Wednesday on the live, racking some mead. And then, yeah, this coming week, all the agenda will come out tomorrow for next week. So it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. There's TikTok is very, very U.S. based, and YouTube is a crapshoot. You're exactly right. Who's up this early? That's a good point. I didn't think about it that way. But if you don't know what mead is, it's the oldest alcoholic beverage in the world, far older than beer and wine. The oldest evidence actually was just uncovered this year. There was an article from some archaeologists that came out May 1st this year, 2024, that found some fermented honey, ancient evidence of harnessing that in southern Africa about 20,000 years ago. It's hard to even wrap your brain around that. Before that, we found some evidence in ancient China about 10,000 years ago, but there's also evidence in Central America and, of course, Northern Europe, where the Vikings traded it, made it super famous, and did it better than everybody else. That last part is subjective. Everything else there is true. But what that means is, regardless of who you are or where you're from, your ancestors drank mead. And that's something we all have in common. Somewhere down your lineage, you had a really awesome ancestor. And you have the ability today to be as cool as they are. As cool as they were. Or, if you believe in afterlife stuff, make your own mead. Make your own alcohol at home. You can save tons of money. You can be really popular amongst your friends group. And you can survive in the barter system after the apocalypse. There's no cons to making mead at all. Yeah, King Cobra does a lot of stuff on there. I follow. He is the OG for sure. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What am I not gonna do? Is that about me? Misty Mountains Meadery. I've heard of that before. Where is that located? Virginia. Okay, that's not too far. I am in Maryland, just north of Virginia. It's all kind of one area when you get like to southern Maryland and northern Virginia. Mix your meats together? Why? I mean, there's some, you know what? Hold on. Let me think about this. That would make a lot of sense in a few scenarios. Especially some of my older stuff where the flavor palettes were a little bit more simplistic. Like you could, and this is just like a rough example, but you can make like a habanero mead and a mango mead and mix those and probably get something really amazing out of it. I do not sell, I'm not licensed to, but I do the next best thing. I show you exactly how I make it, and every single recipe is 100% free. All you have to do, buy your own equipment and ingredients, and follow along. Especially like if you're having trouble like really harnessing like a flavor that you're trying to capture. I've done that a few times. Obviously, the most famous one is my blueberry. I've done several different blueberry recipes until I really perfected it. But I can imagine mixing that blueberry recipe with maybe maple bacon. Maybe make a breakfast out of it. I don't know. The possibilities are literally limitless. Like I said, batch 137 for me came out yesterday. Every single one has been absolutely different and unique. I don't know. You might be onto something. When I run out of recipes, I love me some butterscotch. And butterscotch is one of those flavors, like it's hard to find butterscotch flavored stuff. There's just not a lot out there. Yeah, I'm drinking coffee. I don't think that's crazy at all at 7 a.m. Might be to you. I don't know. Depends on, I guess, your upbringing. I am drinking coffee out of my amazing Old Gods Meadery tumbler, though. Well, I'm pouring it from the tumbler into my Renaissance Festival mug. Yeah, I did a really awesome bacon whiskey mead that I had a lot of fun with. I've actually done a couple variations of that. The most recent, though, Father's Day this past year. It's in my holidays playlist. You go to the Father's Day mead. Bacon whiskey mead. You heard me right. You heard me right. And it was amazing and incredibly easy to do. You can replicate it yourself. That one takes a little bit of pre-planning, though, to really get the bacon flavor out. It takes a few days preparation before you're bottling it. You can go ahead and get the mead started today. You can just make it traditional like this, just a regular honey mead, and add the stuff in towards the end. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Welcome to the Old Gods Meadery. A truffle mead? I don't know. Sounds like a good idea. Yeah, I mean, I definitely would love to sell. The problem with selling mead, it's incredibly complicated, and every single government digit is in every single orifice. And it's tough and incredibly expensive. That's really the big hurdle there, too. But basically, mead by government standard is defined as a wine. In order to open a winery, you have to have a vineyard. They have made some exceptions in the past decade or so where you can open up what's called a micro winery, which can be just like a tasting room offsite of a vineyard. The problem there, though, is you have to do it in an industrial zone. So you can't do it in a commercial zone like where you see restaurants. It has to be in an industrial zoned building. And then on top of that, mead takes a while to make. Like if you really want to make some good stuff, it takes many months. So you have to open up a building, right? Potentially renting it, right? For many months on top of the cost of ingredients, government inspections and licensing, all of the packaging, bottling, everything. So you have to run a full operation for several months before you can even start selling things. So that's where the biggest hurdle is. A lot of it can be recouped through grants and, obviously loans. But it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, you could sell it illegally and just risk the jail time. I'm not doing that, though. So, when the barter system is like in full effect after the apocalypse, I'm your guy. I'll trade it with lots of good stuff. Don't worry. Until then, we're going to build up to opening a meadery. That is my dream. I hope to do it eventually. I hope that this journey are stepping stones towards that. But until then, you're just going to have to write down my recipes and make it yourself. There are 2 ways for me to ship you a bottle of mead for free, though. One of them is kind of free. One of them is a little bit free. And both of them are on the TikTok side, so you have to join the TikTok. If you subscribe to my lives, it's a couple bucks a month, but you get to pick what meads we make on the Wednesdays. Every single mead that I've made on Wednesday lives has been chosen by a TikTok subscriber, and whoever comes up with those best ideas, I put like a subscriber-only post out when we're about to start a batch. They fight it out, and I pick my favorite one out of those, and then I ship that person a bottle of it when it's all done. Or you can join my pop culture pin post that's on the TikTok side. If you have anything that's inspired you from movies, TV shows, video games, books, whatever it is, anything that's inspired you in the pop culture world, genres, put a suggestion up in the comments on that pin post. And if I choose yours, I'll make you a mead, and same thing. I'll ship you a bottle of it for free when it's all done. Dennis's Boston Cream Mead is it's going right now. He's going to get a bottle of that when it's all done. I owe him a bottle of something else, too. I can't remember what it was. Uh, the shelf life of mead, I mean, there's some variables just like anything else. As long as it is sealed and kept in a cool, dark place, it's going to be just like a wine. It won't age like wine. Aging on wine is usually on the red side. So, I mean, it can, but um, white wines, for instance, they call it fragile. It doesn't age. It doesn't really change that much. Um, but yeah, I have stuff like the stuff behind me is from 2016, 2017. Good morning, Scotty. The Thundercats mead, yeah, I gotta ship that to you right away. I'll get that on the list this week. I actually have a written list of all the stuff, and that's on it. The Thundercats mead, yeah. While we're talking about it, I hope I'm not missing any things. We might have to backtrack. So, in the pop culture thread, my good buddy Dennis here suggested Thundercats, and I took it to heart. One of the best cartoons of all time. Came out in the probably early 90s, right? Late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, if you don't know what Thundercats are, you're too young to probably drink anyway. But one of the best shows of all time. Every episode was immersed. It was action-packed. You learned some, like, how to be polite. Like, you learned how good from evil, what the right thing to do is, hold the doors for the ladies, like all the good stuff, right? And I took it to heart. I was incredibly challenged initially. I was like, how can you capture the Thundercats, right? So I did some research, and I finally landed on, if you just go to the Wikipedia page, so what the Thundercats ate. That's where I landed. So they ate space rations when they initially crashed on Earth. Space rations left over in their spaceship. And then they had to switch to this fictitious fruit called burble fruit. Burble fruit was a striped fruit. They were all striped, but they were different colors because they were different food groups at the time. They were all burble fruits that grew, but some of them were meat flavored. Some of them were actual fruits. They were vegetable ones. They had every single fruit genre in this burble fruit. So it was an easy way for the writers to just write off, they don't need to eat. They've got these burble fruits. So I made a space rations and burble fruit mead. So this was a ton of fun. This one is one packet of the space dehydrated ice cream, Neapolitan, of course. So the chocolate, vanilla, strawberry dissolved in here, and 10, they call them candy sticks when it's not Christmas time, but they're candy canes during Christmas. But the fruit flavored ones. I put 10 of those in this, and it's my space rations and burble fruit mead. It's amazing. It's sweet. Get a little bit like of a layer of something, maybe like, I don't know, high fructose corn syrup at the end of it. But outside of that, it's fantastic. I'm going to ship a bottle of this to Dennis this week. He's going to make a review video of it, is what I heard. I can't speak for him. Pretty sure he's going to do it, though. But we'll see. Made it into mead. Well, mead is made from honey. What do you mean? But yeah, I every single recipe I've ever done, you can replicate. A vast majority of the ingredients you can buy at the grocery store. The others that are a little bit more off, you can get on Amazon delivered straight to your house. So I've never made anything you can't make. Minus one. There was one batch of mead that I made that you cannot replicate. I was gifted some honey from somebody that found me here on TikTok from 1993. I called it my ancient batch. I made a mead out of it. The honey was black. It was black. And it came out great. It came out pretty good. Yeah, shelf life, the honey, you're right. The honey itself never expires. And then the alcohol content should be high enough that nothing crazy should grow into it, ever. So you should be good. I imagine stuff would last. These bottles, like I said, they're really old. I'll never open. I do have a couple bottles left of, I think, batch 2 or 4, or maybe a combination of the two. I don't know what flavors they are, though. It was long before I put labels on stuff, when I was just kind of experimenting. I know one of them is a really bad jalapeno. but that's all I remember. It was before I took records of anything or kept notes. But yeah, it's I don't even know why I'm keeping them, to be honest with you. I don't know. Um, I had a family tragedy several years ago, and my buddies came over and made me feel better. And we popped open one of them, and I think we all ended up vomiting that night for that reason and others. But that was the last time I even tried to open one of those old bottles. Blueberry is my favorite. It is by far my favorite mead. I've made so many different, and like it's cliche because it's simplistic. Blueberry is my favorite. Well, it's tied. It's tied. It's tied for elderberry. I'm gonna decide. They're not gonna be tied forever. I'm still thinking about it. Elderberry and blueberry are tied. Elderberry, if you don't know, you can grow them in the United States, but you can't really buy them anywhere. Uh, but you can get some dehydrated ones. That's how I made it. It's a berry uh, more prominent in Northern Europe, and it's it's not like sweet like a blueberry. It's a little bit more earthy. It almost makes the meat a little thicker. Like it's not like thick, but it's like it's the consistency is a little different. You'd love it though. It's great. It's fantastic. Some would argue, more traditional to like a Viking style mead. Some would argue. I wouldn't. Yeah, equipment wise, you can start with it's very simplistic. A 2-gallon fermenting bucket, a 1-gallon glass carboy. You're going to need a mini siphon to transfer the two. And I would suggest 2 airlocks. That way you don't have to clean while you're transferring. You can just swap one out for the other. And that's it to get one batch going. And then that will take a few weeks. You transfer it into the glass carboy from the bucket. Depending on what yeast you use will determine how much time it takes. But then that bucket is free again. So if you buy 2 or 3 or 4 carboys, you can actually keep mead flowing pretty fast. So all together, there's some really cool mead kits on Amazon you can get for like less than $50. Do not spend more than that. If you're spending more than that, please shoot me a direct message and I'll walk you through what equipment you need again. They're ripping you off. They're ripping you off and they're adding in bells and whistles you're not going to need or want. Some would argue that you're going to need a hydrometer. That's not this guy. I don't use my hydrometer very often. I don't like it. I hate it. I don't know what the alcohol content is. The vast majority of my stuff, I can tell you the range. I've used the same couple different yeasts over and over and over again, so I know where they're going to land pretty consistently. But the hydrometer is something that a vast majority of people, that's probably one of the more expensive things, and I think you can get one of those for probably $30 or so. But outside of that, like the buckets and the carboys you can probably even get cheaper if you buy like 4 at a time. Like it'll be more money up front, but you'll save money buying them individually. And you can make more garage style mead if you really wanted to. You can get a 2-gallon bucket at Home Depot and drill a hole in it. You're gonna need where are they? I have them here. These little guys, these like little rubber seals. But some of the airlocks you order will come with these too. You put that on the bucket lid. Just make sure it's sealed real well so you can do it for a few bucks there. And then you don't need glass carboys. Like that's what I use. That's what you probably should use because contaminant wise. But I've seen people use plastic like 1-gallon water bottles. Again, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't trust it as much, especially when it comes to cleaning and sanitizing those. But because I know that my glass can be cleaned and sanitized. But if you really wanted to save money, you could probably get a decent batch of mead going for very little. Very, very, very little. Except you'll get addicted to it, and then you're going to buy the equipment anyway. So you might as well just, accept it now. Hello, Roke. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, if you've just jumped in, welcome to the Old God's Meadery. I make mead every single week, every single Saturday, a brand new batch of mead. I don't miss Saturdays, and I don't replicate recipes. Batch 137 came out yesterday in honor of the god Freyr, the Norse veneer god. That's not it. That's the Thundercats mead. Your mint, cucumber, and lemon mead. Very refreshing. Smells amazing. I said in the video, one of the best smelling meads I've ever made. Go check it out if you haven't already. I have playlists too. Those meads get added to playlists, which are easier. And then if you're on the TikTok side, I actually started a second channel a couple months back where I just archive all my meads. So if you want to take all the noise out of what I do, I talk about mead a lot. I make a lot of videos leading up to Saturdays on how I got to that mead. But if you don't care about like how my inspiration led to that, you can just check the archive channel out. There's a link up in my profile. And it just has all the meads I've made so far this year on it. That way you don't have to scroll. On the TikTok side, it's a little harder because you got to scroll nonstop. On YouTube, the playlists have always been there. You can check out the playlist at any given time. I have it on my list later this week to go through and clear out some of the older stuff there. So just kind of clean it up and tidy it up. And put some more effort into the YouTube side. Howdy, Iron Will. Good morning. Now the crew is showing up. It is 7:31. My computer's about to die. That's okay. We don't need it. I haven't even referenced it once today. Usually people are like, what do you have coming up? What have you done so far? Nobody's asked. So I can tell you this past week has been a lot of fun. All of my meads are in one of 3 categories right now, but the 4th one is wrapping up. So for those of you who don't know, I make pop culture batches. Check out my pin post up top. I'm going to be refreshing that on Tuesday. The video's already recorded. I keep promising I'm going to do it. I finally did it. My holidays mead, which I've been doing since the beginning of the year, that's been a ton of fun. I started that with my New Year's peach batch. I made peach Bellini mead cocktails. Awesome. But then I did, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, Cinco de Mayo, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Labor Day, July 4th, and Leif Erikson Day was the most recent one. So check those out. Your Halloween mead is on its way. Just a heads up. I also do the Norse Gods and Goddesses. That's been a lot of fun. Yesterday's was from that series. I did a Freyr mead inspired by the Norse veneer gods Freyr, who is the twin sister or twin brother of Freya. Learned a lot there. And 13 Colonies mead. So I'm abandoning that category. It hasn't been doing very good on an emotional level. I haven't had a lot of fun doing it. It's not getting the spark that I thought it would. So I'm going to abandon it. But I have 2 in the pipeline. This is your spoiler. This is your spoiler. Next week is Maryland. You're the first to hear it. My agenda does not officially come out until tomorrow. But this week, yeah, it's going to be a Maryland celebration all week long. All week long. Rosemary. You can't go wrong with rosemary. There is a ton of, obviously, flavor palettes are endless, right? You cannot, run out of recipes. And I think spices in general are underused in mead making. I've had a lot of fun making some. Even something simplistic like cinnamon or vanilla can really, really change the course of your mead. So I've had a lot of fun. But another one. What are they called? You know what they're called with Thanksgiving coming up. Where are they? I don't have any. I think I used them all. Anyway, cloves. Use cloves. Don't use too many. They're really, really potent. But a clove or 2 or 3 in your batch will change everything. Nutmeg. Mm-hmm. Oh, and one of my other favorite genres of ingredients that I just kind of found this year. I put the bottle away, or I'd show you. But if you've never seen this before, this will change your life. This will change your life. This is cheesecake extract. I made a raspberry cheesecake mead with this. So it's a little cheating. I don't like to get too gimmicky. That one I was really proud of though, so I don't care. I talk about it a lot. It will change your life. Even if you don't make mead, buy that and make some cupcake icing out of it. I promise you, you will not regret it. If you open that, as soon as you open that little tiny little bottle of extract, it's going to be like your grandma came over, pushed you out of the kitchen, said, "Get out of here, Sonny." She spent 4 hours mixing stuff, putting it together, put a cheesecake in the oven, right? You tried to come in to smell it. She kicked you out again. Eventually, she pulled it out of the oven. Then she calls you over. "Come here, grandson, granddaughter." And then she put it in your nose. She said, "Here, smell this." That's what that smells like. I promise you. Your whole house will smell like cheesecake as soon as you open that bottle. And everybody that lives with you is going to love you a little bit more. I promise. I promise. Invest in it. It's a few bucks on Amazon. Go buy it. But I also found a marshmallow variation of it. I have it here too, I think. Yeah, I do. This guy here, and I think I still have that meat out because I'm putting stuff aside to start bottling stuff, or to start boxing stuff up today. Marshmallow extract. I made this s'mores mead. So this is a Bochet. I caramelized the honey to kind of replicate some crackerish tastes. Chocolate with some marshmallow extract at the end. It tastes like a s'more. It's an alcohol s'more. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Spice mead coffee. I've made a few coffee meads too. I don't think I have any with me though. I don't think I've made one super recent. But yeah, I've made a bunch of different coffee meads. Including my infamous favorite one. It was before I started really getting my groove on, so the videos are a little archaic, right? This is early last year, maybe, but the year before. The I don't even remember what it's called, but there's an animal in South America called the civet that eats coffee beans whole, swallows them whole, poops them out. People collect those coffee beans because they're still whole, but somewhere during the digestive tract, it takes out the acidity of the bean, and then they harness them and they can make coffees out of it. It's the most expensive coffee in the world. It's called like Koopa, somebody knows, Koopa something. It makes an amazing mead and an amazing coffee if you can get over the fact that it's kind of poop. I called it poop mead when I made it. It's delicious. Don't judge people. Just try it. Just try it. Buy yourself some. I'll look it up real quick before my computer dies. Because somebody usually knows, and nobody said it yet. But it's one of those things, like, if you don't know it, you don't know it, right? Who's ever heard of poop coffee? I'm trying to figure out Kopi Luwak. It's Kopi, separate word, Luwak. So Kopi, Kopi Luwak, Luwak. Look it up, have some fun. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna love it, but it's really expensive. Like the first one that pops up during that visit, during that search is $83 for like a bag of the coffee. They have some cheaper ones out there, but not a lot cheaper. But you could trick your friends with it. You know, hey, you want to come over with some coffee, and then you tell them after they drink like a cup of it. Because they're going to be like, that's really good coffee. Where do you buy your coffee? And then you tell them, it'd be awesome. All right, I shut the computer because it's dying. So if you want to know like any of my older batches, we're going to have to turn it back on and hope that it survives, so I can access my Excel sheet. Welcome to the Old Gods Media. If you're just jumping in, I make mead every single week, every single Saturday. Brand new batch of mead, always brand new. I don't replicate recipes, and I don't miss Saturdays. Batch 137 came out yesterday. It is my mint, cucumber, and lemon mead. One of the best smelling meads I've ever made. That's true. It really is. It smells amazing. Tastes pretty good. I would minimize the amount of cucumber I put in if I replicate that batch, which I won't. But you'll see everything in the video, including my opinions of it, towards the end. Came out yesterday. Go check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments of those. The more comments I get, the more I'm happy. And if you want to contribute to my happiness, that's all you got to do. Comment on everything. Oh my gosh, why did you walk so much? Hopefully it was like a Disney World or like a Renaissance Festival, like something that would be awesome and entertaining, and it wasn't like I was looking for my puppy in the woods, because that would be awful 5.5 miles. Unless you found him, then it's a good story. But if you never found your puppy, it's sad, and your legs hurt. You're sad and your legs hurt. Oh, okay. So that's for good reason. That's an investment reason. An investment reason, and you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. And you got a really good friend. You got a really good friend that's helping you along the way, or doing it with you at least. What do you say comment? What are you talking about? You guys are like having side conversations, and I'm not keeping up with you. But yeah, this week you're the first to know. I mean, sometimes I give it away on Sundays anyway, but yeah, starting tomorrow all the way through next Saturday is Maryland based. It's gonna be a lot of fun. If you live in Maryland, or you hate Maryland, or you've been to Maryland, you're gonna love it. Or if you like Maryland stereotypes, I got you. I mean, I don't care what you write on there. You can put that your feet are stinky. I don't care what you write on there, as long as there's comments on there. Especially if you happen to catch a video in the first 30 minutes of it posting, comment a few times. Live in Tennessee. So yeah, Tennessee. I've been to Tennessee a few times. I actually fell in love with Tennessee on accident. It's a long story, but I went to Nashville on kind of a whim trip, and fell in love with it. The Nashville and surrounding areas are not only beautiful, they're vibrant, and it's awesome. Food is fantastic. I'd love to explore the other side, like over towards like Knoxville. But Tennessee it's got a little special place in my heart. I've been back twice since, and I had a lot of fun. And I mean, I don't think there's been a state I've been to that I've liked less than Maryland. Just saying. I'm sorry if I'm offending you, but it's true. It's true. The Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, where was that? Like, I know, like, the Howard County Fairgrounds usually does some wool festivals. I bought some really awesome alpaca gloves. They're a little goofy, but you talk about warm hands. Yeah, we'll trade some mead, absolutely. We actually had a trip planned a few weeks ago, before the hurricane came through, and everything got canceled. Like the reason why we were going to Nashville got canceled. The plane, we got emails about the planes probably being canceled. So we diverted and did a road trip to Carolina instead to knock out another thing on our list. But yeah, our trip to Nashville got officially canceled this year. and it broke my heart because I wanted some Hattie B's. And if you're in the Nashville area, they have a food court in the mall there, and it's not really a mall. It's like It's a food court. Um, it's called a food hall, I think they call it. They have this place called the Donut Distillery. Just trust me, Donut Distillery. It's a small franchise. I think there's 3 or 4 in that area, but that's walkable from Broadway. Little tiny donuts, best flavor. You mix and match your flavors. They also make milkshakes out of those donuts that have alcohol in them. Just trust me. Just trust me. Do it. But it's worth the line. Wait in line for Hattie B's. Really good Nashville chicken. If you like spicy stuff. Yeah, Donut Distillery is awesome. I actually emailed them. I got the card from like that one, and I emailed them. I was like, I'd love to know more about your franchises. Not that like I'm gonna financially invest in something crazy, but I was like, if they're a big like partner and support, I'm sure they want to grow regionally. And we went back and forth once. Like they emailed me, I think, back, telling me the opportunities that could expand through Maryland. And I emailed them. I was like, hey, I might be like really interested. I might be able to grab some partners. I'd like to learn more. And they never got back to me. I was a little offended, but I still like their donuts. Because something like that would kill in like DC. So I that was on our list to go to. We were going to go to Hattie B's and back to Hattie B's and then try that out too, because you're not the only person that said that. It looks like those are the two top contenders. It's definitely on my wish list to go. Oh, very fun, very funny. Hello, if you're just jumping in, welcome to the Old Gods Meadery. I get sidetracked a lot, but I make a lot of mead. 1 batch a week, and I show you how to do it. Recipe's always free in the description, so you can replicate and do everything that I do, or you can tweak it, make your own. I don't care. As long as you're having fun and you're jumping into this amazing hobby and community, that's my goal. Have fun. Share pictures and videos of your stuff. I'd love to see it. If you ever make anything like really cool, shoot me a direct message. I'd love to see it, like I said, or just tag me in like your comments. That way, I see it immediately. I'd love to see it. I'd love to share it. I'll repost everything that you make. That's awesome. 7 days? No, it takes way longer than that to make mead. Most of my stuff sits between like 3 and 6 months ish. Most of it is right in the middle there between like 4 and 5. There are some ways to like speed it up, but you still probably would be breaching about that 3-month marker. You wouldn't be able to do it much faster than that. Unless you don't care about clarification. There are some meads out there that you can, once the alcohol is in there, you can drink it. It's just not going to taste as good because you got a lot of stuff still dissolved in liquid, especially like the dead yeast. But whatever else you put in there, you're going to have particles. That's why it's really cloudy when you rack it. You do not need a still. Still is for like distilling things. You can distill it and make something like a brandy off of it. We've heard rumors that might be going on, but I've never seen it personally. But mead is made in almost identical fashion as wine, except we use honey for the fermentation process instead of grapes or other fruits. But you can make every combination in between. The actual like legal definition of mead is it has to be 51% or more honey sourced as the sugar. So from the sugars for the yeast. So if it's less than 51%, it's considered a wine. But I'll tell you, nobody cares. Nobody's diagnosing what you're doing. Have fun. You can call it whatever you want. As long as you like it and your friends like it, your family likes it, who cares what people call it? If you put honey in it at all, I would call it a mead. Just saying. There's nothing stopping you. You can start today. It's so incredibly easy. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to like figure it out. That I've thought about briefly, and maybe I'll still invest in this one day. Distilling obviously has become it's grown really big. Moonshine in general genre has just skyrocketed the past several years to the point where they commercially make it now. It used to be you couldn't buy that. But they make distilling kits, like tabletop distilling kits now for just a couple $100. You can get a really nice like copper one. I've thought about it. I've thought about it. So, yeah, making mead does take a little while. So the fermentation process usually takes a few weeks, depending on which yeast you're using. Some of them are a little bit faster, some are a little bit slower. So you can pretty much guarantee between 2 and 4 weeks, though. Once you rack it, then it just sits. You can put it in a cool, dark place and forget about it for many months if you wish. Most of my stuff sits between 3 and 4 and 5 in that range. And then everything will settle and kind of clarifies what we call it and become one of these beautiful tasting meads. You just bottle it after that. Yeah, honey wine is a very common phrase that people use for it. Mm-mm. It is currently 7:52. You got me for a few more minutes. Welcome to the Old God's Metery. Chris, welcome to the family. Thank you. I'll be putting a pin post up not this weekend, next weekend, or subscriber only post. We're gonna fight it out and see who wants to start a batch of mead next week. And I'm not saying that I don't pick certain people, but if I've already made a batch for them, I'm probably gonna choose somebody else. So it's highly likely for new people to get their choice of mead. You have an idea and it's a good one? Are you gonna save it for one of those posts, or are you gonna tell us right now? Dennis, I hate to tell you, even if you have a great idea, it's likely I'm not going to choose you. All right. Not yet. Not yet. You might get back on there. And if it's a great idea, that supersedes new people. So, just saying. But Dennis, the most recent batch that he's going to get was this amazing Thundercats idea that he gave. Thundercats mead, it's this space rations and burble fruit mead. Go back and watch it. I had so much fun making this one. Um, and then Dennis also has a Boston cream mead going from the Wednesday lives. Yeah, the hibiscus and strawberry looks fantastic. It is just, it's a very dark red right now. I suspect it'll lighten up. You could see it as it was translating. I actually think I have the video. I need to post it. I'll post that later today. The actual video of it. I finally successfully downloaded it. TikTok. But anyway, if you looked at the mead through the actual siphon, like it was just such a vibrant and beautiful red. So, it's going to be amazing. But I thought you were here. I'm pretty sure you were here. Did you jump in at least? Maybe jumped in, jumped out? Iron Wall is getting that one. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. There's so many. Oh, Well, sweet. You should make like a video comparison. And I want to lose it. I want yours to be better, but I still want to know what you think. Yeah, I do have that video. I should be able to edit it down and get it posted. I'll post it up this afternoon. So right after this, I'm gonna post just my like weekly recap, all the stuff that you may have missed this week, and then I'll post that video later today of the live recap. So that video will be it'll be a little bit longer. It'll be less than 10 minutes though. So if you want to see what a Wednesday live is like, that's a good example of it. We have a lot of fun. I'll edit it down so it's just the mead making portion where I racked the mead. So I transferred it from the 2-gallon fermenting bucket to the 1-gallon glass carboy live. If you don't know what I'm talking about, every single Wednesday I go live to show you a different step of the mead making process live. And it's always one of three. I'm either making the mead, so everything from scratch from the very beginning, racking the mead, which is where we're transferring it after the fermentation is completed into its secondary vessel so it can clarify over time. And then lastly, the third step is bottling it and tasting it live to show you what, tell you what I think. All of those batches are chosen by TikTok subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. A couple bucks really from you really goes a long way in helping put a dent into what I do, because this is a very expensive hobby when you make as much as I do. And yeah, it's my small thank you for everything that you do for me. Yeah, I'll ship you a bottle of it when it's all done. That's how that works. So if you put it even on the low end of meads you buy commercially, 20 bucks a bottle, right? You're saving a ton of money. The honey is the biggest expense. I actually had a massive tragedy yesterday. So I actually buy mead in bulk. I buy 60-pound buckets of mead, so it's 5 gallons of mead at a time. I buy it from Desert Creek in Texas because the honey there is incredibly consistent. It's wildflower honey, but the bees live all year round down there. So the honey is always super consistent. I had my first tragedy from UPS yesterday. They delivered it while I wasn't here. There was a little note on it from an official UPS note. Said, it's leaky and sticky. Let us know if you want us to set up a pickup for return. And then I pulled the sticky note on it. The back side of it was sticky. And I was like, that's not right. Yeah. There was probably maybe 2 pounds of honey that had spilled out of the bucket into its bag, and then out of the bag into the box. So guess what? Guess what? I fed a lot of ants yesterday in my front yard. So there's ants all over it now. So I immediately moved the bucket further away from the house and set up the return. So yeah, I'm gonna have a little delay in making some of the future meats because I'm gonna run out of honey this week. But what can you do? It's the first one. It's the first first thing that's gone wrong with the honey delivery. But I blame UPS. So, and I can guarantee it's not my regular UPS driver because I don't know him personally. Nice guy. We wave to each other when we see each other. He loves my dog. He constantly will give treats to my dog, and if my dog's not outside when he gets here, he'll leave treats on the step for her. He loves my dog, so that makes him a friend. So I'm pretty sure it wasn't him, because he would have been like, I can't leave this box here like this because it's leaking everywhere. Pretty sure he would have done that, as opposed to leave a note, let me know if you want to return this. I don't want it. It's leaking everywhere, and now there's ants all over it. Yeah, I would love to use local honey. Like, if you can afford it, local honey is always better. Support your local businesses for sure, but it is incredibly expensive if you buy local. Just because the people that are selling it to you are the people that are doing the hard work behind it, and it's not. There's no machinery involved. There's no the automatic honey capturing hives like you see on a commercial level. It is just like them with a bee suit out there, getting mason jar by mason jar and then selling it. So it's a lot of work behind it. If you can support them, do it. But I buy it from Texas because it's super consistent down there, and it's a honey I kind of found by accident that I love, and it's very predictable. Anyway, guys, it is 8 o'clock. I'm going to start wrapping stuff up. Right after I close this out, I'm going to post up the recap video. So stay tuned. Just keep refreshing my channel. It'll be up in like 60 seconds. And then, yeah, like it, comment on it. That's going to be the true test if you stick around. I'll know if you commented on it or not. Because it'll be up in like 1 minute. You're not doing anything. Just give me 1 more minute of your time. Comment on it. Get it going in the algorithm. Like it, share it, love it. You know the routine. And then later this afternoon, I will be posting the Wednesday live repost, so you can see kind of what we did there. Don't get confused though. That's just the like mead portion of the lives. We have a lot of fun beforehand. So I'll officially be live this coming Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be bottling some mead. I'm not going to tell you which one it is yet because I want you to stay tuned. But stay tuned. It'll be, you'll find out tomorrow, Monday, when I put the agenda out. But for those of you who have been around a long time, you know which one it is because, you know, it's Maryland week. So stay tuned. But before that, I'll get on probably between 8:30 and 8:45. We're going to be drinking a little bit of whiskey, having a little bit of fun together. After I bottle this mead and we try it, I'm going to move the camera back around and we're going to chit-chat for a little bit longer. Those are the stuff you miss out of the actual recording repost. So stay tuned. We always have a lot of fun there, and it's always the same group of awesome mead makers. So it's a great time to come in and watch me have fun, make a fool out of myself, and for you guys to talk to each other about, you know, mead making. So it's always fun, and yeah. Stay tuned. You're the first to... I love that thing. It's way less creepy than the Puff Daddy one. Have you seen the Puff Daddy one? Don't do it. P. Diddy. Literally, don't do it. Anyway, thank you so much for your support. It's going to be a blast. Like I said, the agenda will go out tomorrow. But it's Maryland week. You're the first to know. So, again... Skull, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much, even more importantly, for letting me be here. It is a blast and my honor. I love sharing my passions with you. And I hope I inspire you to start making your own. It's going to be really important for the barter system after the apocalypse. You're going to need a skill that other people don't have. Making your own alcohol, you can literally trade it for anything. So, Skull, I'll see you guys all real soon. Come back Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.